right, man, let me do a review for this game because there's got like a lot of back and forth. A lot of people are bashing this game. So let me do an honest review for Resident Evil's Umbrella Corps, which is a spinoff to the Resident Evil series, but a tie into the story and the lore of Resident Evil. Now, I played every Resident Evil known to man. I am a huge fan of zombie games. Resident Evil is the actual game that started me off. The original Resident Evil for PlayStation is the game that started it all for me back in the day when I was young and a little little kid getting into the gaming shmoney. Anyway though, but yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, there's a lot of bad I'm gonna have to talk about, so let's get into it, man. I mean, the game definitely is something to talk about. Jesus, this shit stinks, but there is some good things in there. And like I said, I try not to do negative reviews, but this is the kind of game where you gotta warn people and gotta let them know what's really good. Now, I did beat the game, and I wanted to wait until I actually completed this game before I did any type of impression of it. I didn't want to do a first impression because the first impression was terrible. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you now. If I did a first impression, actually, I'm gonna tell the truth. I did a first impression video, and it was so ugly I didn't upload it. Okay, so let me talk about the game now that I completed it. Okay, first of all, the game has 25 chapters as far as single player is concerned. Why am I talking about single player? Well, that's actually a negative reason, because the fucking multiplayer doesn't work. Okay, the multiplayer in this game did not work for me. Now, granted, I am on PC, and I would believe it's different on PS4. I did not check, but judging from the PC alone, I was like terrified to go any further. So I'm just gonna warn you now, for PC people, this multiplayer is completely fucking broken and does not work. Okay, just keeping it 100. Capcom, you are fucking up. This is strike number 2 this year. So let's carry on. Okay, so right away you notice when you play the game that it focuses on multiplayer. It's heavy emphasis on multiplayer. The mechanics, the arena style of the maps, everything is focused on multiplayer. You can see that was the premise of the game. The single player does not even have cutscenes or anything like that. It's just about, I would say, 7 maps, and they're broken up into 25 different various fetch quest tasks that you do. Now, the tasks are, let me break down what these are for you people that want to know. There's mode. The first and primary mode you will always see a lot of on every stage is DNA Hunter. DNA Hunter is when you pretty much run through the arena against NPCs and you kill them for samples. Now, you take the samples, and once you hit a certain number, you clear the round. Now, that round usually requires you to do at least 20. I haven't seen anything less, but sometimes it goes even further depending on how far you get in the game. Now, the next mode would be Collector. Collector is when you travel the same map, but you pick up at least 5 briefcases. Like I said, minimum of 5. It may be more, but I haven't seen any boards or anything like that. Maybe if you change something, it could be more, but that's what I've seen. Now, the third one, which is what you will see and is very familiar to anybody who plays multiplayer shooters, is Domination. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You capture the flag, you hold it from the NPCs, and I'm assuming this mode will be in multiplayer because it's definitely multiplayer orientated, and you just hold the map for 10 seconds until the flag is lit up and that area is yours. Now, some boards do have more rounds, but these are the 3 modes that you will see with different like little iterations to them, but those are the premises of the game. Now, once you do these rounds on every stage, you surpass that stage and move on. Now, some boards are actual remakes of areas because they're experimenting, and some are actual locations. Now, they did do a good job with the ideal of this game. They gave you all the fan service you could ever want from Resident Evil story. They gave you the Umbrella Corporation side of it as you play as one of the Umbrella employees, and they even tell you what happened to them. Like, you notice that there was situations you've seen in the game where they look like they got double crossed. Well, all of that's actually explained in a little bit of information that they give you in this game, because like I said, there's no cutscenes. You pretty much complete a round, and every time you complete an experiment, you get a little memo explaining to you what you did and what they want you to do. Now, of course, at some point in the game as you progress, you kind of realize that they're trying to kill you. Now, I won't break the story down, but what I will say is that pretty much the further you go in the game, the more that they actually want you dead. The reason for that I won't get into unless, because I don't know if you guys want to play this or not, because I feel like personally the game is not 100% bad. There's a lot of good in the bad, put it that way. Now, it being $30 is good because this game looked like it was going for AAA $60, and they realized that they did such a poor job of actually executing this game that they couldn't charge you that. Now, what do I mean? Let's get into that right now here. The mechanics for this game are fucking terrible. This is one of my sticks about certain games. If the mechanics are bad, and when I say mechanics, I'm talking about game controls, you battle this controller so much that literally on PC, you have to battle your controller. The controller has this weird hitbox indicator that keeps pushing your pad to the left, so every time you have to pick, you actually have to hold your right trigger on your controller down and you have to keep pressing it in order for the thing to move because it's constantly pushing to the left. It's some weird bug and glitch on the PC version. They need to fix it. You either have to know what to do or you have to use a keyboard. And it really seems like it's very nasty towards controllers and it doesn't want you to use one. So for those of you on PC, if you have that issue, you have to actually hold the right stick on your control pad in order to select things. If you don't, it's going to constantly keep selecting left on you. It's going to do that when you try to change your resolution. It's going to do that. And matter of fact, I'll just play the clip of it while I'm talking to you so you can see that, because it's something fucking fierce. It's very poor. It's very lazy on the developer's part. They did a poor job. Now, whoever did the actual design of the game, they did a good job. And to me, they got punished by the people who put the programming of the game together, because the fan service is there. When you look at the enemies, the textures, their faces, the details, everything's dope. You recognize these characters. They look so iconic and detailed that you actually recognize who they are. Every board that you go to, you see enemies, you know who the enemies are. That's fucking dope. That's an amazing detail. Even the Umbrella Corps soldiers, you recognize everything. The stages, they have Raccoon City, they have the iconic police department, they even have Alaska and Africa in this game. They even have the enemies from those areas. They even tell you the story of why you're there and everything. So they did a good job of fan service. They did a good job of the story of Resident Evil. However, like I said, the game is a fucking wreck as far as the programming is concerned. The multiplayer does not work, and they did something that I hate when companies do this. I hate when you take a game that has a bad control scheme, and the control actually isn't bad, it's just that it's clunky. If I'm going down the steps and a zombie is sticking his arm through the thing and hitting me, and I'm swinging at him and I'm actually getting hit detection sounds, and he's not taking damage because I'm on the steps because of some weird hitbox thing, don't use that to make the board harder. That's lazy programming, and that's the main problem with this game. It has too much lazy programming, and that's what killed the game. Now, do I think it's worth checking out? I actually would say yes. I think it's worth checking out. Do I think it's worth checking out for the $30 price tag? I would say hell no. If this game hits $15, $10, definitely. If you're a fan, you should check it out. The single player campaign, 25 rounds, it gets very hard when you get to the 20th. I'm gonna let you know now. You will be raging. You will be raging. So if you don't want the game to be difficult, it gets very difficult at the end. I like the challenge because I had to finish this game because the end of the game was very interesting to me, to be honest. I'm just being real. So I had to see the ending, which was just, of course, another memo. So don't think you're gonna get an ending with actual credits and you know, explaining stuff. Michael Bay explosions. None of that here. Nah. You paid $30. You ain't getting that. So anyway, that being said, the story of Resident Evil is pretty much intact, and you get a good perspective and spin on it in this game. And I like that. I like the boards. I like the design. I hate the controls, and I hate the mechanics, and I hate the programming. Like I said, I would love to see what the multiplayer was like, but on PC it doesn't work. The fact that when you plug in a controller and there's some kind of weird glitch that they did not fix in a patch was a bad sign. Game almost been out a week. There was no update to fix this. There's plenty of forums where I see people complaining about it. Capcom doesn't even seem like they're responding to this. Now, this is actually the second time that they brought out a game this year that disappointed me, that I was a fan of. Street Fighter V, I have not played in 2 months. I tried Guile out and I put it down. I'm very disappointed, Capcom. This is 2 strikes this year. Please do not make a third, because then I'm going to have to start making videos talking about your game, because this is a game that hurt me, because like I said, I played every Resident Evil out. I own every Resident Evil game that ever came out. If it came out with a different version of the same game, I probably don't have that. But when it came out for every platform, I brought every Resident Evil. So this was a little bit fuck scratch. It was a huge disappointment to me to see the way that this was actually executed, because the ideal was great, but it doesn't work. So with that being said, it's your boy Jimmybgaming. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Did you get this game? Are you getting this game? Did it work for you? Did it work for me? No, it did not. It worked 50-50, which is poor. In my opinion, like I said, $15 max, get the game. Anything less, they're getting you, man. If you're a fan of Resident Evil, I would take the hit and get it, just because you'll enjoy the story like I did. But a lot of people out there ain't got time for that shit, and the same is said for them. You clearly see they ain't have time for that shit when they made the game, and that's the problem right there. So should developers who do this be rewarded? Probably not. But fans will suffer because they miss out on something good for them. So it's one of those things where if you're a fan, you might want to take the hit. If you are not a fan, definitely don't buy the game. I'm just gonna put it to you like that. And I hate to make a review where I'm suggesting you don't buy the game, and you know, but I gotta keep it 100. Gotta be honest. Gotta be real. These corporations can't keep getting away with doing shit like this. Capcom is one of my favorite game developers of all time, as far as games that they made as a kid, and I'm disappointed that they're doing this to my game. So I made this review to warn you guys. Yes, this shit is an utter disaster. There is a diamond in the rough here, but it's a lot of rough and a lot of it that you got to dig through to get to the diamond. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'm out of here. Peace. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Wait, before you go, do me one favor. Of course, you know what I'm gonna say, right? You know what I'm gonna say to you, right? You know what I'm gonna ask you to do, right? Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to hit the subscribe button if you're new. If you're not, that's cool. What I need you to do is click on the link above you and check out that video, okay? That's what I need you to do. Click on this big box right here on the screen. Yes, hit that right there. I'm out of here. I'm later. Yeah, gotta go. Peace.